The mindset needs to be, we're providing an opportunity to invest in cash flowing multifamily real estate in my instance. Right? Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, as always, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm doing excellent, man. We're in the middle. My wife and I are in the middle of planning like our summer camping trips. We like to camp a lot, and holy cow, everything is so booked out already this year. It's crazy. Usually we are planning like right about between like now and mid-April. We can't find anything. I think COVID has shaken everybody to go outside and actually be in nature a little bit. So, man, we should have been planning a month or two ago because it's crazy. We can't find anything. But anyways, we found a couple spots. We're gonna enjoy ourselves out in Yellowstone and Grand Tetons for a couple of weeks, and we got some local camping that we'll be doing. So.
Nice.
That's what I've been focusing some of my, at least this weekend, that's what I was focusing my energy on.
Yeah. My wife and I, we have a cabin reserved for July up on the shore of Lake Superior.
Everybody said, look, we're just like, we got to get out. I think everybody bought a camper or a tent or whatever. And now everybody's, they're an outdoors person at least for this year. We'll see. I think that'll go away. Yeah. I think people will revert back to their normal eventually, but you never know. I mean, it's probably going to capture some people that are like, wow, I can't believe I never did that before. So you're probably going to add some people, but it's all good. It's all good. As long as people take care of it, that's what matters the most,
Good year to own a campground.
A great year to own a campground. Yes. Man, I actually looked at buying a couple campgrounds in the past, and I never did. But wow, now would be a great time to be owning one. Mm-hmm. Well, cool. So what are we talking about today? Last week, I guess what you remember better than me. So
it's all good. Yeah, last week we talked about building a team for investing in multifamily properties, and today we're going to be talking about raising capital that you need. For those properties. And then next week, we're going to plan on talking about underwriting the deals that you find.
Yeah. So as I said, too, there's really no right or wrong way to be started thinking about this, right? We need to be building our team. We need to be raising capital, and we need to be underwriting deals, and we kind of need to be doing them simultaneously. It's good to practice on underwriting. It's good to be talking with investors, and it's good to be talking to your team. So the money raising should start fairly quickly because you don't want to get that first deal and not be able to raise the money. You can't expect the deal to find the money. Okay. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Investors, for the most part, are investing based on the sponsor. Do they want a good deal? Yeah. Are they looking for a property that makes sense? Yeah. If you bring them a property that's garbage, are they going to invest just because they like you? Probably not. But you don't have to have the best deal in the world to find investors. So that's something to keep in mind. And actually, what I like to do for my investors is just try to keep expectations real, right? I try to make sure I'm keeping the expectations low. Matt, you and I were talking about a property earlier that I'm trying to lower expectations on because I don't want my investors to be expecting such high returns. I feel like the property will produce really high returns. But if I show those to my investors, let's just say I've got a property and I think, wow, this thing is going to produce a 25% IRR. Okay. So it's going to double its money in just a matter of, let's call it 3 to 4 years even. Okay. And I show that to my investors, and they get all excited about that. And then what happens when a couple things go wrong and now we produce a 16% internal rate of return? I doubled their money, but it took me, 5.5 to 6 years. They're going to be disappointed when in fact they should be excited. Like that's still a great return, right? That's still a really good return. So had I just dulled my numbers down, kept my expectations lower, then we all would have been happy in the end, right? But since I got them so excited with these big, massive returns and it didn't happen, then they're disappointed.
Yeah, conservative underwriting is where it's at.
And conservative expectations, right? I think that's important. So, we got to get that money in the door. And there's raising money, and then there's using your own money, and there's also getting money from lenders. Okay. So first thing, you're going to want lenders on your team, right? So they're going to give you a good portion of the money. So let's say they give you 75% of the purchase price. Okay. Now you're going to have to figure out, okay, how do I get the rest of that money? How do I get the 25% down payment? How do I pay for the closing costs? How do I pay for the inspection fees? How do I pay for the reserve account that I want up front? And how do I pay for those repairs that I'm going to have to put into the property? So we add that all up and maybe we come up with, we need $2 million to buy this, 75 unit property. How do we come up with $2 million? Okay. I just was listening to Ken McElroy and I thought this was really good. He said, people that use their own money are lazy to buy real estate. People who use their own money to buy real estate are lazy. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. It's an interesting take on it. I don't necessarily agree 100% with it, but at the same time, you need to look at raising money, in my opinion, if you're going to grow and expand in this business.
Yeah, I think when I was only using my own money for investments, I think it was more of fear. I was afraid of like the complications that could arise from working with other partners or using other people's money.
Yeah. Yeah. Then a lot of people are, and I get it. It is simpler it's definitely simpler if you only use your own money, right? You're bringing on some complications because now you've got partners. And so you've got people that you actually have to be accountable to, right? You've got investors now and they're holding you accountable and you need to make sure you're accountable, right? Because it's their money. You have to take care of it. So it's definitely bringing on another layer of complexity for sure.
So I'm curious, how do you approach people? If let's pretend like I'm a high network or net worth individual, how would you approach me to see if I'd be interested in investing with you?
Well, so here's what I think we need to be thinking about. So I think it starts with the mindset, right? So your mindset has to be, we're offering something of value, right? So we're solving a problem. The mindset needs to be, we're providing an opportunity to invest in cash flowing multifamily real estate in my instance, right? So I've got this cash flowing multifamily real estate. If I've got this great investment and I'm super excited about it, I want to get this deal done. I want to get it across the table. And maybe I even have the $2 million sitting in my account. It's selfish for me to take that deal down myself because I don't provide anybody else opportunity, right? And it's also, in my opinion, lazy, as Ken said, because if I have $2 million in my account, why wouldn't I go buy, instead of one property, why wouldn't I go buy 20 properties, 15 properties? Use some of that money for each property, right? So I take $200,000 and put it into the property instead of 2 million, or I even take 500,000 instead of 2 million, put it into that property. Now I can buy multiple properties with that money, and I can bring on investors to invest alongside me. And I'm providing them an opportunity, right? An opportunity to invest in cash flowing multifamily real estate, which again, if I'm investing in it, I firmly believe in it. I'm excited about it. So I'm giving them what I have as well. I'm sharing with them. Okay? I'm solving their problem as well. They've got likely, if they're a high net worth individual, they've got a problem. That problem is they're trying to look for a nice home for their money. Okay. They're trying to look for a home for their money that provides them, good risk adjusted return, right? And real estate, multifamily especially, is one of the best risk adjusted return investments out there. So that's where it starts with. This is a mindset. If you're in the mindset of, I got to find money, I got to find an investor, I got to find investors, I got to find money, I've got to ask for money. Oh, I don't want to ask for money. I hate asking for money. I hate feeling like a sleazy salesperson. Oh, I just don't want to ask my relatives. You're coming about it with a totally wrong mindset. Like, if that's your mindset, then you've got a crappy investment and you don't believe in what you're doing. Right? So believe in what you're doing, or don't do it, and have the mindset that you're providing opportunity for people.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I think I heard it first from Holly Williams, essentially that raising capital is not selling, it's just offering opportunities and finding the people that are open to the opportunities that you have to give them.
Right. And educating them, right? You need to make sure that people are educated. And if they aren't, do your job to educate them. And quite frankly, I mean, it's not for everybody. Everybody doesn't want to invest in your deal, or maybe it's not even that they don't want to invest in your deal. It's just not a right time for them. I'm not pushy. I don't care. I mean, look, if you want to invest, great. If you don't, that's okay. I provided you the opportunity. I presented it to you, and I believe in it. I'm not selling you on it. So if you don't want to be a part of it, it's okay. And there's people that are fairly pushy on it, and they do well and raise a lot of money. So you got to decide what your strategy is. Just for me, I don't love selling people on that, right? So I'd rather just them invest if that's an opportunity they want to take advantage of. Hey, real quick, I just want to let you know about the multifamily challenge that we got going on. It's a 5-day multifamily challenge on how to get an offer in quickly, right? So we're going to teach you in 5 days, 5 1-hour sessions. We're going to go through the steps and the process to get there. So go to mfichallenge.com, You can sign up. It's free if you want the VIP. There's a bunch of things that we'll give away too. You do have to pay for that, but hey, it's going to be well worth it. Again, you can get in for free. We're going to teach you how to get that offer across the table, get the LOI in, all the steps. So Ellis Hammond and Ellis was episode 316. Check out his episode. And we're going to be doing this next week. So sign up now at mfichallenge.com, and get in there. We're doing it next week, and it's going to be awesome. So hope to see you there.
Once you've got your mindset in the right place of offering opportunities, then how do you approach people?
Well, so first things first, you've got your friends, family, acquaintance network, and that's who you need to work first, right? So those are the people that are the closest to you. Those are the people that hopefully you care about the most, and you want to provide opportunity to, right? So those are who you want to kind of approach first. They already know you. They feel comfortable with you. They get what you're doing. So approach them. And there's many different ways you can approach them. So it's up to you how you want to do it. You can, as simple as just write an email. You can form like a MailChimp or a Constant Contacts, or, one of those accounts, put all your contacts in there, and send them a newsletter. Hey, this is my new kind of adventure that I'm doing, or whatever, or, hey, you guys know I've been in real estate already for, 7 years, but I'm transitioning now to be a multifamily syndicator. What does that mean? What does that do? Have an article for them, right? Explain why multifamily is so awesome, and explain what syndication is. Because quite frankly, a lot of people have no clue, even very wealthy people have no clue what multifamily syndication is. They've maybe heard kind of about, pooling money together to buy apartments, but they've never really heard about it. They don't know what it's all about. Nobody's explained it to them. So, educate people. So get them on your list and educate them. Send them that newsletter, that introduction newsletter. And then always have a place for them to be able to schedule a call for you. So I use Calendly. You can use, there's all kinds of other, calendar kind of organization links where people can just click on something to schedule a time with you. So, hey, if you're interested in this, or if you know anybody, here's my calendar link. You can definitely schedule a time with me. Okay. So I think that's huge, and always provide that opportunity every time. On my emails, it's like kind of a little smaller print at the bottom of the email every time. And it might be sprinkled in throughout the email too. Like I might just be talking in the email and saying, and all of a sudden have somewhere in there to say, feel free to schedule a call with me, and have a link embedded in it. So that's one way. The other way, of course, is to call people, have coffee with them, take them to lunch. That's going to take you a lot longer, but that's a lot more personal, and it's going to get even better results. Especially those who you maybe want to catch up to anyway. You haven't talked to them for a while. Hey, I'd love to catch up to you, and just put it in the conversation. You don't have to push it down people's throats, but you can just talk to them about it. So I think that's what everybody needs to start with, is their own natural network. What I would say too is look at all your contacts, friends, family, acquaintances, write them down. Write down the ones who you say have a possibility and potential interest in investing in real estate. What's my minimum? How much do I want people to invest? Is it 30,000? Is it 50,000? Is it 100,000? Okay. For me, it's $50,000. Okay. When I first started, it was 25,000. So we'll talk about why you want to have a minimum and why your minimum should be a decent size number. But if my minimum's, let's say $25,000, I'm just going to look at my list and I'm going to go, does that person have a chance, even a chance, to invest $25,000? If I go, look, Aunt Betty, she can't even pay her rent. Like, she's missed the last 3 months of rent. She's going to get evicted. Well, probably don't put her down, right? Because she likely doesn't have the money. Now, maybe you say, look, I want to, because I think Aunt Betty's going to do some great things. And I really want Aunt Betty just to be a part of my emails, right? But you can't expect her to invest in your deals if she can't pay rent, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to take my list, and I want to take and get all those names in. Your friends and family will invest at a pretty high rate. So if you say I've got 50 people that I think will hit that could hit that $25,000 minimum, you probably have 20 of them that will actually invest.
After you've done that, where you've approached your close contacts, your friends, family, acquaintances, how do you find investors outside of that circle?
Yep. So great question. And first, make sure you're continuing to connect with the friends, family. Don't just assume that since they're close to you that they're going to invest with you. Continue to send them monthly newsletters, update them. Do have coffee and lunch with them. Do invite them to any places, if you have a meetup or anything like that. So make sure you're still continuing to connect with them. How do we find new people? That's where it gets a little more difficult, right? So you need to figure out who you speak to. Okay. What type of person are you? Do you speak to the engineer? Do you speak to the doctor? Do you speak to the lawyer? Who do you speak to? You definitely have, everybody has a certain personality. Everybody has a certain network. Okay. So who's your network and who do you speak to? And then speak to them, right? So, if you are already a doctor or you work in the medical field somehow, that's who you're speaking to. That's who you should get to know. You should attend events and charity events and stuff like that people in that industry are attending. You should, become part of a board or, a group that's in that industry, in that field. And you should be speaking directly to them in all of your kind of marketing. And yes, we are marketing. Okay. Even though I said you're not selling, right? You're providing opportunity. You're still marketing. You still have to get your name out there. So when I send my newsletters, especially that group, and you can have multiple newsletters if you want. It's harder to manage, but you could have multiple newsletters. But I'm going to be catering towards, if it's in the medical field, I'm going to be catering towards people in the medical field. I'm going to be talking about their problems, right? I'm going to be bringing up current events that are going on, and I'm going to sprinkle in real estate along with it and how real estate benefits some of those current things that are going on, some of their problems that are happening. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that they understand. Again, if I got an engineer, we're going to talk a lot, probably more about numbers than we would if we've got a doctor, because doctors aren't about numbers. Not that they're not smart enough to know numbers, but an engineer, that's what they think about. So we want to have a lot of statistics if we're talking to engineers, right? We always want stories. That's important. But we have to understand our audience. So I think that's really a key factor to know who our audience is, and make sure you're getting into their events. A lot of investors want to go just to real estate events, and that's okay. I've gotten a lot of investors through real estate events, but if you want to get your own unique tribe, your own unique group of investors, you've got to be industry focused. You've got to be personality focused. You've got to understand their problems, and you've got to figure out how do you get in there and solve their problems. Okay. The other way, of course, like I said, you can get into these real estate events, go to meetups, go to conferences, talk to people, network with them, let them know what you're doing. Get a speaking event if you can. Be the speaker in front of those groups. You'll get a lot of investors through that. Speak on podcasts. Start your own podcast. Start your own blog, right? Be a thought leader in some way, shape, or form. Write a book. Okay. Matt, you know anybody who's written a book?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, book about real estate.
Yeah.
So I think you got to become a thought leader, and by being a thought leader, you're doing two things. First of all, you're educating your current network, right? You're making them understand what's going on. They get smarter and smarter, and they want to invest more and more. And then you're gaining new investors. Okay. So people are seeing you. They're seeing you post on social media. They're seeing that you're posting good stuff. I always post good stuff, and I always post positive things, or post. Don't demean people, I should say. Don't argue and fight on social media. I think that's more damaging. But join those groups, and you're going to see that your network will definitely grow.
And once you've attracted people to you and they schedule a call with you, how does that call go?
Well, yeah. So that's really important what you just said there, though, too, Matt. I mean, we gotta track them. That's one thing. We've got to somehow capture them too, and get them to actually reach out to us, and that's really important. And so I want to always have an easy way for them to get a hold of me. They can go to my website, and right on my website, I've got an ebook that people can download. It automatically gives me their email address. Now they're on my email list, and I'm sending them my communication. Now, some people will just unsubscribe right away, and that's fine. They're welcome to do it. But at least I got them on my email list. So if they look at it and they read it and they're like, oh, this is interesting stuff, they've got a way to reach out to me immediately. And that way we can schedule a call. And then when we schedule a call, I try to focus a lot on them and let them ask the questions to me. So I want to know about what their reasoning for investing is, what they're looking for, and then let them ask questions about my company versus me just talking directly at them. All right. So I don't think I answered your question. What was your question?
How is the conversation going to go when somebody actually schedules a call with you?
Yeah. So I guess it kind of did. Again, I want to focus on them. I want to ask them, why they're looking at investing in multifamily real estate. I want to ask them if they're accredited or non-accredited. To me, that's really important. Even if I work with non-accredited investors, I need to know that. I want to know what they do for a living. I want to know if they've got wife and kids or husband and kids. I want to know, about a little bit about their family, and I want to know about what they do for work. I want to know where they live. A lot of times I'll ask them, what do they do for fun too? Try to get to know them a little bit more. And, again, what are their ultimate goals? And then of course, open it up for, hey, what kind of questions do you have for me? And be prepared for them to ask all kinds of questions.
What sort of questions are common?
There's so many random questions, but I would say the most, most questions you're asking you, very simple, like what are your splits? What kind of returns are you expecting? Is it a 5-year hold or what kind of hold period? Kind of the basics. Try to have answers that are not basic. Try to have explanations behind it. Because look, a lot of these people might talk to 10 different people. And if you answer the same way as all 10 other people answered, you're just going to be one of the 10. And you won't matter. You won't stick out. But if you answer the question differently than everybody else, if you explain yourself differently, if you have, again, understanding your investment criteria, understanding what you're doing is really important to then answer the question honestly, right? So when they ask about return expectations, you can say, well, look, everybody's kind of got very similar return expectations, but here's why we're different, right? We do X, Y, and Z. We do this. For me, I'm more of a impact investor, right? And so people who are attracted to me want to make impact. We want to make money, but we also want to make impact, right? They're not going to be attracted if that's not on their mind. If they're only focused on money, somebody else is probably a better fit for them. But if they're focused on both, I probably speak well to them. And that's what I make sure I speak about. I make sure they know that about me. Because if they don't, again, why do I stand out? I don't stand out.
Yeah, great advice. I really like that, to make yourself stand out above the crowd. I mean, the stories, as you mentioned before, I think that's what really attracts people to other people, is when you have a good story, a good description of why you do 5-year holds or have certain splits or whatnot.
Your job is to get these people to know you and to feel comfortable with you and to feel like your friend or, acquaintance, somebody they can trust within a very short period of time. Right. So you've got to do your job to make them feel comfortable and confident in what you can do.
Yeah, I love that book, Build a Story Brand, which really lays it out of how to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that's all I got. I think we've given our listeners a good basis, unless you have anything else as well.
No, I think start now, right? Don't wait to start raising money. Start now. Start right away. If you know there's any possibility that you're gonna be raising funds, which I think you should, as long as you're honest and trustworthy and going to do things ethically and morally, then I think it's a good idea to raise money for your business and include other people into it. So start now, start having those conversations. And again, it's about how you're positioning your mindset. I think that's going to make you be successful with it, knowing that you're providing an opportunity. You're not selling them on something, providing them an opportunity. And truly, I believe that. And I think that helps me as an operator too, to be better. Because if I'm selling something, then when I sell it, I'm done, right? I sell it and I'm done. But if I'm providing an opportunity, I have to make sure I follow through with that opportunity and actually make sure it's truly the opportunity that I said it was going to be.
Excellent.
So, yeah, man, that's all I got though.
All right. Well, hey, have a nice rest of your day and make every day a Saturday.
Hey, you stole my line, Matt. That's not fair. All right. See you later.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.